The Paris Agreement is one of the most important and groundbreaking international treaties of recent times, adopted in 2015 at the United Nations Climate Change Conference, COP21, held in Paris, France. The agreement aims to limit global warming to well below 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels and pursue efforts to limit the temperature increase to 1.5 degrees Celsius, which is considered the threshold beyond which the most catastrophic effects of climate change could occur. The Paris Agreement has been signed by 196 countries and ratified by 190 as of April 2023, making it one of the most widely supported international agreements in history. Its ambitious goal of limiting global warming is based on scientific evidence that suggests that a 2 degrees Celsius increase would lead to devastating impacts such as more frequent and severe heat waves, droughts, storms, flooding, sea level rise, and extinction of species. The goal of limiting the temperature increase to 1.5 degrees Celsius is even more challenging but crucial, as it could help to avoid some of the worst impacts of climate change. Under the Paris Agreement, each country is required to submit nationally determined contributions, NDCs, outlining their climate change mitigation and adaptation efforts. These NDCs are updated every 5 years to reflect progress and increasing ambition. The NDCs cover a wide range of activities, such as reducing greenhouse gas emissions, promoting renewable energy, improving energy efficiency, protecting forests and biodiversity, and building resilience to the impacts of climate change. The Paris Agreement also established a mechanism for countries to report on their progress towards meeting their climate targets, and for independent experts to review and verify these reports. This transparency and accountability are critical to ensuring that countries are on track to meet their commitments and to building trust among the parties. The Paris Agreement also recognizes the importance of mobilizing financial and technological resources to support the transition to a low-carbon, resilient future, especially for developing countries that are most vulnerable to the impacts of climate change. The Paris Agreement has been widely hailed as a critical step forward in the global effort to address climate change. It represents a remarkable achievement of multilateral cooperation and diplomacy, as it brings together countries from around the world in a shared commitment to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and build a more sustainable future. The Paris Agreement has also helped to raise awareness of the urgent need for action on climate change and has catalyzed a wave of innovation and investment in clean energy and climate solutions. Despite the many achievements of the Paris Agreement, it is not without its challenges. One of the main challenges is that the agreement is non-binding, which means that there are no penalties for countries that fail to meet their climate targets. This has led to concerns that some countries may not take their commitments seriously, especially if their economic interests conflict with the goals of the agreement. In addition, some critics argue that the targets set under the Paris Agreement are not ambitious enough to prevent catastrophic levels of global warming and that more drastic action is needed. Nevertheless, the Paris Agreement remains a critical tool in the global effort to address climate change. It provides a framework for countries to work together, share knowledge and expertise, and increase ambition over time. The Paris Agreement is also part of a larger movement towards a more sustainable and equitable world, as it recognizes the importance of social and environmental justice, gender equality, and human rights. The success of the Paris Agreement ultimately depends on the commitment and cooperation of all countries and stakeholders, from governments and businesses to civil society and individuals, to build a sustainable and resilient future for ourselves and future generations.